The Golden State Warriors are like cockroaches. They just don't die.
Oklahoma City, Curry three.
Draymond stopped it!
Of course!
A 3-on-1
To a
becomes
familiar place, they're on top of the NBA world.
Ever since their title win in 2022, most people felt that it was the start of their decline. With their big three aging, it seemed that it was the beginning of the end.
I think they need to think about getting younger. Because Steve said it, can't be on top forever.
For one of the greatest dynasties we have ever seen in basketball.
The fourth title in 8 years. The Dubs dynasty is still very much alive.
But the Warriors are showing that as long as they still have Steph Curry and Draymond Green playing at the top of their game, along with Steve Kerr as the coach, they will always remain contenders. With Curry turning 36,
I'm just trying to eat my tomatoes.
What?
and Klay Thompson having left,
Thompson has agreed to a 3-year, $50 million contract with the Dallas Mavericks, ending his historic 13-year run with the four-time champion Golden State Warriors.
how have the Golden State Warriors become even better?
Golden State survives a late push from New Orleans. 112-108 the final.
When you look at the history of the Warriors, they pretty much have always succeeded when they were the underdogs. Their best player in Steph Curry was passed over 6 times in the draft.
With the 7th pick in the 2009 NBA draft, the Golden State Warriors select Stephen Curry from Davidson College.
Ignored twice by the same team at one point. The Minnesota Timberwolves actually drafted 2 point guards before Curry. Passing up on the greatest point guard of all time to draft Ricky Rubio and Flynn is insane. Then even after Curry was drafted, there were questions around his fit in the team as the Warriors already had a small guard in Ellis.
The big question with Steph Curry is he hasn't played the point guard spot his entire life. Basketball players who've made that transition, but to do it at the highest level in the NBA, no easy task.
In fact, at one point, Curry was supposed to be included in a trade offer to the Milwaukee Bucks, but the Bucks rejected the offer due to Curry's injury history. Ellis was traded instead.
On the TV in the locker room, like breaking news, NBA trade, Warriors trade, Monte Ellis, Epe Udoh, and somebody else for Andrew Bogut. And that's how we found out.
This ended up giving Curry the opportunity to become the face of the team. But even back then, nobody knew he would become this good. When it comes to longevity, people forget about Curry, who has been one of the very best players in the league ever since his first MVP season in 2015. Despite being closer now to 40 than 30, Curry is still elite. He showed at the Olympics that he can still take over when needed, and on a court that included KD, LeBron, and Anthony Edwards, Curry was still the shining light. As long as he is healthy, the Warriors will always have a chance. He is that good. Just last year, he was named the Clutch Player of the Year. Remember how he absolutely destroyed the Celtics in their own stadium in the 2022 championships? He is still that guy. Just look at what he did to the Mavs in the NBA Cup. He scored all of Golden State's final 12 points as part of a 37-point, 6-rebound, and 9-assist performance in a 121-17 win over the Dallas Mavericks. Performing like that, all while shouting at the camera, "You better stay here." A message that was clearly intended for Klay Thompson, who left the team. Of course, he also did his night-night celebration. He also put up 27 points on the reigning champion Celtics, and even dropped 36 points on the young and hungry OKC team. The only reason his raw stats are down is because he's actually playing less minutes. Kerr has had the luxury of resting him more this season, which has kept his shooting efficiency sky high. His 43.5% from the 3 is the best he's shown since the 2018-2019 season. Now, as good as Curry is, he needs his partner in crime, Draymond Green. Draymond is a player who was even more overlooked than Curry when starting his career.
With the 35th pick in the 2012 NBA draft, Draymond Green from Michigan State University.
He was selected as the 35th pick and really struggled to get minutes. At the time, there was no distinct role for him. He was too small to be a center and not good enough at shooting or creating his own shot to be a good wing. It wasn't actually until the 2013 offseason, where he lost 20 pounds and improved both his 3-point shooting and defense, that Green started his rise. Green finished the 2014 season having played in all 82 games with 12 starts while averaging 6.2 points and 5 rebounds per game. He went on to play in all 7 of the Warriors' first-round playoff games against the Los Angeles Clippers.
Draymond Green from outside, and now after struggling to start, they were 0 for 7.
He was praised for his tough defense during the series after averaging 1.7 steals and 1.7 blocks per game. From that moment on, it was a rise to stardom for Draymond Green. The Warriors don't win all those championships without him. Him playing as a center really popularized the small ball movement. Fast forward to today, and Draymond is still that tough defender that he was in his prime. In fact, aging hasn't been the issue for Draymond, but rather suspensions. You see, the aggression that Draymond plays with, that chip on his shoulder from being underappreciated, it's what makes him great.
Legitimate fight here. And this is spilled behind the basket standard.
But it's also the thing that has led to his downfall in multiple occasions. Ignoring the fact that he punched his own teammate Jordan Poole a few years back, he had a lot of on-court issues last season as well. November 14th, 2023, Green ran into an altercation between Jaden McDaniels and Klay Thompson, but instead of breaking up the fight, he immediately put Rudy Gobert in a chokehold. Then the next month, Green hit Nurkic on the face. He ended up missing 12 games for suspension.
Oh man.
Well, that's going to be a flagrant.
The thing is, when Green isn't getting into fights, he is still playing at an elite level. Like last year, he got a double-double against the Pelicans without even taking a field goal attempt. Defensively, everybody knows how important he is. He anchors the team, communicates with the players, and is able to guard 1 through 5 seamlessly.
Of course, a 3-on-1 becomes nothing. A 3-on-1 against Draymond is not a given.
Then on offense, his two-man game with Curry is phenomenal. These guys have played so much together that they're always on the same wavelength. Sure, Green is no longer the shooter he used to be in 2016, but he's still super impactful. He can always find the right pass, and more importantly, can always find Curry. If Green can keep his cool and remain suspension free, there is no reason the Warriors can't continue winning. On top of the two stars performing, there are some other factors that have led to the Warriors' success. We are seeing a return of the strength and numbers idea that was the foundation of the Warriors' early triumphs. The Warriors have always had star power, but Steve Kerr believes that you need contributions from the entire roster to actually win a championship. Golden State didn't have the personnel to make that strategy happen in recent years, but it's back in full force again. Kerr called this the deepest team he's ever coached, and that's been proven by his rotations. Nobody's playing more than 30 minutes per game, and Kerr has 13 players averaging double-digit minutes. Curry and Draymond Green are still doing their thing, but now you have Andrew Wiggins and Kevon Looney experiencing a resurgence after being in a bit of a funk last year. Wiggins and Looney were essential to the Warriors' 2022 championship run, so it's good to see them performing well again. The Warriors have also gotten tremendous contributions from their recent draft picks, and they've also hit on their new acquisition in Buddy Hield. Buddy Hield has been one of the most impactful new players on the Golden State Warriors. He's an early frontrunner for 6th Man of the Year.
Hits again, Buddy Hield.
He is providing some much needed scoring off the bench and was at one point shooting almost 50% from the 3. He slid right into Klay Thompson's role and brought a joy to this team that was honestly missing last year.
Is Buddy Hield that much of a precipitous drop-off from Klay Thompson?
You see, Klay was a great shooter last season. There was just too many moments where he tried to do too much. Klay would forget that he's supposed to be catching and shooting instead of trying to create offense on his own. He didn't have to when you have Curry. He would single-handedly shoot the Warriors out of games, such as his dreadful performance in the playing game against the Kings, where he went 0 for 10 from the field.
Here is Thompson. Another miss.
That left Kerr in an awkward situation, having to remove him from the starting and closing lineups throughout the year. But that problem is gone now with the addition of Buddy Hield. With Klay, it was tough to tell him that he's going to have to come off the bench, considering the role that he's played in the Warriors' success, how good of a player he can be, and just managing the ego of a player who at one point was one of the best 3-and-D players in the league. But Buddy Hield has embraced coming off the bench, especially after he didn't fit at all with the Sixers in the previous season. Buddy has always been a terrific scorer.
Wow, what a play. What a second half for Buddy Hield.
A great shooter, but he's been unleashed at another level in Golden State because Kerr has figured out how to overcome his shaky defense while making full use of his shooting.
On some teams, I'm sure they'll be like, yo, don't chase the ball. We're like, great, okay, he's chasing the ball. We're going to figure out what we do with that.
Buddy Hield has been able to fit into a new, more aggressive style of defense led by the new assistant coach, Jerry Stackhouse. The Warriors were 23rd in the league in turnovers forced last season. They're now in the top 10. They have a bunch of long, athletic guys who can make plays on the ball. They're sending 2 defenders on ball screens more often and creating havoc. It also helps that they have smart veterans who know how to rotate, and Draymond Green is spearheading it all. It has led to a defense that has risen from number 15 last year to a top 10 this season. The Warriors have also upgraded their classic movement-heavy offensive system. Another new assistant coach, longtime Blazers head coach Terry Stotts, has brought some of the actions that he used that helped Damian Lillard and CJ McCollum do so well in Portland, and he's brought those sets to use with Curry and Buddy Hield. It's helped the Warriors improve their offensive rating. Curry, Green, and Kerr has always been a winning formula. You have to remember that their loss to the Lakers in 2023 was the first time since 2014 that the Warriors lost in the playoffs prior to reaching the finals, and their first playoff series loss against a Western Conference opponent under Steve Kerr. Then last year, when the Warriors lost to the Kings in the play-in game, it wasn't because of Curry.
Clock ticks. Curry with the ball. Puts it up.
He finished with 22 points, shooting 50% from the field. He was just being hounded by the Kings defense, and his Splash Brother partner missed all of the shots that he took. As much as it might hurt to say, getting rid of Klay Thompson has been a blessing in disguise for the Warriors. Curry is still the most dangerous shooter in the game.
Curry for three.
And Draymond Green is still a player that could easily be named the Defensive Player of the Year. But the Warriors are great again because the other guys have shown up behind the two stars. They even managed to hold the fort down when Curry got hurt, going 3-0 while he recovered from his sprained ankle. It was a reminder that this Warriors team has a ton of depth, something that was missing in previous years. Beating both the Celtics and the Thunder, it was a reminder that this team is legit. Yes, it's not the same Steph and Klay team that dominated the league for so long, but it's a new version of the Warriors that is still capable of making some real noise in the playoffs. But as good as the Warriors are, the West runs through Nikola Jokic. To see how good the Serbian is, you have to check out this video right here.